Good afternoon, this is Media Center Ukraine, Odesa, and we continue our work today. You can watch us online, both on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Center for Social and Adaptation of Adolescents is urgently looking for premises, and this is our current topic. Our guests are Iryna Gaberstro, head of the Center for Social and Domestic Adaptation of Adolescents. Good afternoon. Olena Ivanina, mother of a child with a disability, and Lili Tarazanova, an attendee of the center. Thank you very much for joining us today. Let's start with Iryna. Good afternoon. I'd like to say that our center was opened 4 years ago, and sorry for speaking Russian because I'm still learning Ukrainian. And I think that in a month I will be able to speak freely our state language. And we has been leasing different premises with our children, and we had to move several times, and our children are very active. They can adapt to life, and so the main task of our center is to help children and adolescents with disabilities to adapt to our world, to everyday life, and we use different types of treatments like art treatment, etc. And we urgently need premises, but it not should be like an office, and we try to teach our children different kinds of things like cooking, like painting or drawing, and so we provide different opportunities to our children, and that's why we need a space which is suitable for our plans. We've been renting premises till the latest moment in a house, and there was a person helping us to cover the rent, but and that was not that expensive. But this house in 93 Bazarная Street, and the house is in a very bad condition, and all the residents were asked to leave the house. And now we need to find urgently new premises. It's winter, it's cold. Once we faced such a situation when we had to meet with our children in parks, and we just draw, they make something with their hands, but that was in the summer, and it was easy, it was warm, and now it's winter, and we have a lot of our belongings, and we have done a lot, and we have accumulated a lot of things that we need to take with us, that we need to put somewhere. And if we need to have a warehouse, then of course it's like funds, and we need to find the solution. And in recent years, we've had an established tradition. We produce, our children do something with their hands, which are then sold. And we can use this money to have our center with his presence. But unfortunately, now we need to leave that house, and that's why we will not be able to have this Christmas tradition this year. And what is the problem with the house? Is it because the recent bad conditions? No, it have been destroying like for the last 30 years, but then there was a rocket missile explosion near Tiraspolska, and actually that affected the house. Also, our part is on the other part of the house, and so it was after the latest missile strike, the part of the house just fell down, And now the authorities, they say that people should be evacuated from the house, and this means that we have nowhere to stay with our children. How many children do you have? When it comes to inside activities, this is just some part of our activities. These are young people with disabilities. We have around 12, 13 just adolescents there. But we have much more children because we don't only work with adolescents with disabilities, but we also support IDPs and some other people who are in need. And when it comes to classes, then we have groups up to 15 persons because the room is not that big. We cannot have more people. These children, adolescents, they cook for elderly, they cook for the military. And so our activities, they involve support to some other people. So we tried some soups, borscht, and just adolescents. They just cut fruits, products, vegetables. So we support even greater number of people through these activities. We also just collect aid to people from the Kherson Oblast for IDPs. So we have some part of the premises which are used as a warehouse for such people. What is your staff? How many people do you have? 6 persons. 6 people who help us to work with our beneficiaries, with our children, adolescents. We have 6 people, and we also have with us Olena, who is one of co-founder, and she is a mother of a child. And we also have dance classes, and we have dance classes with one premises, and also we have sports activities in another space. And so we just use different premises for different activities, like cinematography studio. And Larisa Anatolievna Brislavska, she also helps with musicals. And we also have painting classes. We also have sports activities. And we have different teachers for that. We have a question online. And I would like to remind you that you can just ask your questions in messengers if you watch us online. And we have a question from journalist Vera Zaporozhets, and she has a question to Iryna. Have you just discussed this with the municipal authorities? Will they support you? Yes, and I'd like to say that we are in contact with local authorities to deal with our problem, and they need time to find new premises for us. Together with Marat Korolev, Leonov, Natalia Mostovskis, which are the members of municipal council, we just prepare everything needed to find premises, but we need time and a long period of time, because even for the residents of the house, which are evacuated, are still in search of new apartments. As far as I know, only 2 persons were just moved to another place out of 5 families. Do you know any deadlines? No, we are just preparing people's deputy request for the municipal session to try to solve the issue. This is what is happening at the level of the city. Olena, is such a center really important for the children to adapt? And I'd like to say that this is a problem for the whole state. We have a lot of organizations, we have a lot of students who deal with the children with disabilities till the end of the school period. But then everything depends on parents. This is their burden because they need to do something with their children to find work or to entertain them. There are many children who will never be able to work, but they grow up and they're young people and they need to be involved in something. It was very difficult for me to find Iryna's center, and there is no information in our city, no website where you can get the information about such children. So it's just the word of mouth. The people say that there are some organizations, and that's why such centers are important. A lot of parents with their children don't know what to do with them at home, because if children stay at home, and they are not children, they are adolescents, they are young people, and if they cannot go out, they become aggressive. And they have a lot of questions to their parents, and the situation in the family becomes intolerable. And that's why it is very important for children to adapt to life in the circle of children which are like them. They should have a group, they should have a team. That's why it is very important to have such centers. Unfortunately, all such organizations are supported through charity. So we pay for our children, or some philanthropists support us, or donors. So we have to pay for utility services, for example, for the flat that we have been renting. And now there is the war in our country, and there are not so many people who are ready to support us because they support the army. And the utility service are getting even more expensive. But thanks God, there are a lot of organizations, like charitable organizations, who give us premises for sports activities, for dance classes. That's great, but it would be even greater if we have some specific space, because we're always dependent. We need to move to other premises all the time, and it would be great if we could have such center on the municipal level. You say that you need to move all the time. Have you seen such cases before, as you have now? For example, is there some sports activities in the city? These are not the bad guys who ask us to leave, but for example, if there are some other activities, we need to skip our classes because such premises are occupied by competitions, because they have their own plans. So we just sometimes are able to get access to those premises, and we don't have our own place. If at least one space, one facility is provided for everyone, for all NGOs, for all children, for us to know that, for example, the balls are ours, because it is very difficult to take all your belongings with you all the time, because every time we need to go to another place. What is the monthly budget of your center? I don't know. It is difficult to answer the question. The budget is related with renting. And I would also like to think that we are very grateful to people supporting us over the last 4 or 5 years. We've got a lot of new friends who support us, who give to us materials which is related to our workshops and other activities. Just ordinary people support us. There is the word of mouth, and sometimes people say that they are ready to provide something. Or we can just leave information in Facebook groups saying that, for example, we ran out of paints, and our city is really great. People are so great, and they support us. But and it is very difficult now to wait for the new premises, because because those people who have never understood the problem of people with mental disabilities, it's very difficult to understand it, because every day we skip our classes, it has a very negative impact on our children. It's like one step forward, three steps back. And during the quarantine, during the lockdown, we lost a month, and it was difficult for our children to get to adapt again to these classes. And this is very difficult for children to preserve their skills. And I would like to thank those organizations that support us with the social and household adaptation in the society. We cooperate with different schools, different school children, and it is very important for us to have classes with ordinary people, with children, with students, school children. For example, we invite different people to our workshops. These are IDPs, those people with large families. That's why we need some space for us. And I say that in our center we have like very limited space, but the number of people, children, increases all the time. Are your classes free of charge? We raise money only to pay for utility services. And we try to find money through donations. And what is the monthly payment? This is like our payment for utility services. So it was like 300 hryvnias, but the prices are increasing. And we are very afraid of the future, because we cannot take money from these families, from these children, but we need this money, on the other hand, to cover all these classes and activities. And now I have a question to Lila. Could you share what information about the activities in such a center? I just joined the center without any knowledge, with phobia. I could not do anything, and I can say that at school we cannot all the things which are taught at the center, and it is difficult to find friends at school like at the center. You've mentioned that you had different phobia. What kind of phobias did you have? I was afraid of dogs. I was afraid of people. I was afraid of the society. And that's it. Have you coped with your fears? Yes. Now I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of acquaintances. We also support other people. I'm sorry. So, as far as I understand, you just bring aid to different people. Can I help? Yes, and the fact that Lila is able to just be here to talk openly, and not all adults are ready to talk in front of the microphone. And I would like to note, actually, that when volunteers come to us, or those people who, for the first time, encounter people with disability, all of them say that at first they were nervous, and now we can see that these are also ordinary people, and this is like a discovery for them. And this is what I want to show to the society. Our children should not be should not stuck in one room. We have different activities like excursions. So we help to clean up the hills. with the man called Pavel Deshuk, with Dmitry Akilin. We also have different activities with the kayaks, and we also work with the director of Lyceum in the Ivanovsky district. So we came there with our children, and we went to New Vasuki. We also went to Uman for 2 days, and this is very important for us to ensure that our children can communicate with others. We can also speak about our support during the war. What you give to others. Our motto. Our motto is to help with people who are in need. Who are in need more than we. And Lila has mentioned that first she had a lot of phobia, and could the same be said about other children? The cases are different, and with Lili, can I just tell a bit of your history? And I always ask such questions and when Lili joined us, she was around 13, maybe 14, yes, 13. And she was like a mouse, and she was always with her mother. She was afraid to go somewhere without her mouse, and she closed her eyes. But we saw, but we understood that she was listening to us. And when we asked her, she said, "Who are you? I am a small invalid." And now she said that she is a queen. And the same could be said about the fear of dogs. That was really a huge phobia, and she was afraid even of smaller dogs, and she was in panic if she heard a dog barking. And then we started gradually working with her phobia, so that was not a treatment, just I had 2 small dogs of my own, and Lili started visiting me. And now we always have a dog at our center. This is the dog of the person in charge of our sports activities. And the children just got used to having a dog in our center. And the same could be said about Lili. And then St. Nicholas just gave her a parrot. And step by step, Lili coped with her fear of animals, and that's how we work with every child with his or her phobia, and we use different approaches. And I think when Lili is ready to have a dog, a pet dog, then we can say that she fully coped. Perhaps yes, but I need to have an agreement of my parents, the consent of my parents. Iryna, you've mentioned that was a philanthropist supporting you with money, a person who paid for utility services, for the rent. What happened? That person has been supporting us a lot, and now it is more difficult. I cannot say who this person is because he does not want us to disclose information about him. He is our sorcerer, so to say. He is our fairy. And 2 years ago, before the full-scale invasion, it's almost 3 years ago now, before the full-scale invasion, he just also paid for our excursions at Uman, at the Mykolaiv Zoo. We also went to Vilkova, and then he paid for our premises. So for 2 years, we saw no problems, and we are so thankful to that person. Perhaps even he does not imagine what he has done to us and our children. Do you have any ideas about the premises? It's very difficult because everything depends on the funds that we can get. And we just expected that till April we will be able to raise money. just to support us. But unfortunately, we can see the surge of rent and for different premises, and we need to pay for real estate agents. So at the moment, you don't work. You are closed. So yesterday we were still there, but it's risky. And now I've just received a call before briefing that the guest service was at the house. So we need just to find some new premises for our things, for our belongings. Unfortunately, we cannot find still a place. Thank you very much for joining us today. Hopefully that in the nearest future, the issue will be solved. I just want to say a few words. We continue inviting people to our activities, despite the fact that we don't have premises. We would like to invite all children, all adolescents with a disability or not, IDPs. Everyone is invited to our events, to our workshops. The information is published on my Facebook page, and I would like to thank those who support us. Thank you for being with us. Thank you too, and we will continue at 1:30.